What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. This is your review for Pose Season 3, Episode 6. So listen, we are almost at the end, and even though I have been critical of some things this season, I still love this show, and I just really hate for it to end. This episode, Pose, you always get me right there. So we start this episode off with a gut punch, but it was a gut punch we saw coming. Pray Tell is dying. You get the impression that this is probably fast forward about 6 months, about maybe even longer than the diagnosis that he had about 6 months to live, because he said, y'all are not going to do this to me again. The last time you told me that I had 6 months to live and I'm still here. So I feel like maybe we are fast forwarding a little bit. You have to kind of hear that. But he's actually going blind in one eye, and the doctor said that that generally is the code for the beginning of the end. And so Prey is making plans. He's putting his plans in order. Blanca is over his house. He's cooking dinner for her. He's got his sunglasses on, and he made her a dress for the wedding. And of course, it's gorgeous, and she loves it. And he's fitting her for it, and he says, listen, it took me twice as long as it normally takes, but, you are going to be beautiful at the wedding. And he says, when I came to New York, I had dreams. Like, I wanted my own couture fashion line. It's been great dressing people for the balls, but I wanted to, have this high-end couture. I came to New York to be a fashion designer. And, Blanca was like, well, we can still do it. Come on, Pray, let's go. Like, it ain't too late. And he was like, well, it kind of is for me. And that's when he lets her know, and he takes his sunglasses off, and she sees his eye. And, of course, Blanca reacts the way that you would expect Blanca to react. And he was like, listen, ain't nobody got time for all that crying and tears. I got some things I want to try to get done. And one of the things is he has started making his square for the AIDS quilt. Now, for those of you who are too young to remember the AIDS quilt, again, at the height of the epidemic, a quilt was started. I remember every year, and they probably still do it. They just don't publicize it like they used to. Every year, they would take it down to the National Monument, and they would open the quilt up, and people could add pieces, and it would be, pieces that would just commemorate their loved one who died from AIDS. And of course, the quilt got bigger and bigger every year, and it would travel. And like I said, I'm sure the quilt still exists. I'm sure it's around. It's probably morphed into many quilts by now. They just don't publicize it like they used to. But he wants to create his square. He shows her, that he's already started working on it. And he's like, listen, I need your help. Like, again, we ain't about to sit here and cry, but I need your help with getting my, getting my panel together for the quilt. And, this is what I want when it's my time. And of course, Blanca, she's like, okay, y'all know how Blanca is. Okay, we're going to make it happen. That's what we're going to do, and that's what's going to happen. And of course, they have their moment. Then the tears, right? Then the tears come. Next, honey, listen, Angel still ain't home. Okay, Angel ain't home. She left Poppy, and everybody is telling her that she need to take her spoiled ass home. That, how could she leave Poppy at a time like this? We see Poppy with his son. He's teaching his son how to cook. And again, we have fast forwarded. So this is not like immediately after he found out he had a son. But again, I find it interesting that, he's living there with Poppy. And I can't be mad at him. They got on matching wife beaters, honey. And it is everything. It's real cute to see them together. And he's teaching him how to make pancakes and getting him ready for school. And, all of those different things. And even in the midst of what's going on with him and, though he had Ricky come over. I'm sorry. I lost my track. Ricky came over And he asked Ricky to babysit for him. He said, "Listen, I gotta go run some errands. I gotta go to the store and pick up a few odds and ends. You know, can you watch him for me?" And so they've turned this into a whole village situation. And Poppy said, "Listen, I love, um, I love Angel, and that is who I want to spend the rest of my life with. But at the end of the day, if she don't get on board, I will do this by myself. Like, that's just what it's gonna have to be." And like I said, on the other side of town, we got Blanca convincing her that she need to get it together and go on back and talk to Poppy because the man has been good to her and she's being ridiculous. Well, in that conversation, she says, "Well, I want to call my dad." And Blanca was like, "Your dad?" And she said, "Yeah." And Blanca was like, "You still keep in touch with your father?" And she was like, "Yeah, you know, I send him money and stuff." Blanca was like, "You send him money? Like, even after he put you out, even after he..." And Angel was like, "Yeah, you know, like, he's still my dad. Like, he's still my dad." Um, and what we realized is she sent the money as a way that hopefully he would accept her. You know, if I send you money and I take care of you, you gotta love me, right? You you've gotta learn to accept me, right? You know what I mean? Like, it's sort of like that situation. So we see her go to see her dad, and he, you know, of course, he knows who she is when she comes in there, and it looks like her dad owns a store, like a bodega type situation, and um, you know, a guy comes in hitting on her, and he was like, "Yo, you know, back up off of her. That's my kid." He didn't say daughter. He said, "That's my kid." And the guy was like, "Oh, my bad. I didn't know you had a daughter. I thought you had a son." And her father was like, "Mind your business," you know. And so for a minute, I thought, "Oh, okay, he got her. Okay, he got her back. Okay, okay." So they end up going to they're eating, and she's talking to him about getting married and everything that's going on, and he was like, "How you gonna get married? Like, how two men gonna do that?" You know? And she was like, "I'm a woman," and he was like, "Okay, but you still a man," you know, like. And she tried to have the conversation with him. You know, she wanted him to walk her down the aisle, and you know, all of that stuff. And he, you know, let her know, "Listen, I'm not with this. I'm not going to accept it. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to play this game with you. You are living this fantasy, and I'm not doing it." And it was in that moment that she realized two things. One, she realized that he was never going to accept her. And maybe he's not going to cuss her out and be nasty to her and call her names, but he's never going to accept her. And two, she realized, damn, all this time I've been trying to get love and unconditional love and acceptance from you, and I had it all along with Poppy. So thank you, Dad, for making me come to my senses and realize that I'm about to lose me a good man over some bull. And so she goes back to the apartment. She sneaks in, and Poppy is there talking to um, his son. They call him Bento, and he's saying, you know, they're talking about baseball and stuff like that, you know. And then he said something about he said something to the effect of, "I don't like talking about my mom around you." And Poppy was like, "Why?" He said, "Because I think it makes," he said, "because it makes me sad when I talk about my mom, and then I'll cry." And Poppy was like, "What's wrong with crying? If you feel like crying, cry." He said, "You still have to be strong, but if you feel like you need to cry, cry. Nothing wrong with that." And he said, "You know, I cry all the time, you know, when I get sad and things like that." And he said, and he started talking about Angel and how much he loved Angel, and how it makes him cry sometimes when he thinks about Angel not being there, but how, you know, he loved her, and that it's okay to cry. And I thought that was a sweet moment. And so Angel puts her ring back on, and then she comes out and lets them see her. And you know, she says, "Hey, I'm here. You know, I'm Angel." You know, she introduces herself, and all. And so they back together. And it's cool. And I'm happy for them that Angel came to her senses, child, because Lord knows. So, um, so Angel is having a nightmare. The nightmare is them going down to City Hall to get this marriage license, and the woman saying, "You are not a man. I mean, you are not a woman. You are a man. Look at this M on your passport, honey." And so Angel goes to the ladies, and they get to talking about it. They're having the cake testing for the wedding, and Angel is like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have to get somebody to make me a fake passport, a fake ID. And here's where, once again, I'm sorry, y'all, it went left for me. You have Electra saying, absolutely not. We are not going to do this based on fraud. We are not going to go into this situation fraudulently. You are going to go down there and you are going to get your marriage license as who you are, and it's going to be what it's going to be. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, this sounds good. And this is all cute for a good movie, but it's just not the reality. It just ain't. I'm sorry. It just ain't, y'all. But I'm not going to dwell on it. I'm just going to let that go. And so then Angel says, yeah, you're right. We just going to have to figure something out. I'm just going to have to go down there and we're going to figure something out. And so they end up going down there to get their marriage license. And what they end up doing is Poppy, being his charismatic self, he talks to the woman about the baby and going on their honeymoon and how they've been engaged for 3 years and how they're ready to do this and going through all of the rigmarole to keep her distracted from seeing that big ass M on Angel's passport. And she ends up signing off on the marriage certificate. Pose, I'm just gonna let you have it. I'm not gonna fight with y'all. I'm just gonna let y'all have it, child. Now, in the meantime, and in between time, Poppy leaves Angel with the baby child, and poor Angel ain't know what to do. And before you knew it, that little sweet little angel of a little boy turned into a demon child, okay? And he is throwing stuff at Angel, and he is running around the apartment. Angel done called and backup. She done called Blanca in for backup. Now let me tell y'all something. Kids can smell blood in the water, okay? Kids know when you are afraid. Kids know when you don't know what to do. Kids, and I think, although I think this scene was a bit exaggerated for the purposes of us understanding that poor Angel was in over her head, but kids, listen, kids know. Kids know who to cut up with. They know who they can and can't get away with stuff with. So she calls Blanca in for backup, and Blanca shows up, and Blanca's got, a Power Rangers costume for the little boy. He loved the Power Rangers, so she tells him, she introduces herself and everything, and then she tells him to go put on the Power Rangers costume and show her his best moves. And he was in love. He was having himself a good time, honey, showing all them Power Ranger moves and all that good stuff. And Blanca tells Angel, listen, he's not a fragile toy that you're gonna break. Like, it's okay to open up your heart, and it's okay to just be in the moment and love him. Like, it's okay. You're gonna make mistakes. You ain't gonna have all of the answers, but you can't be afraid of it, because again, he gonna smell the blood in the water. Now, we have this scene with Miss Lulu and her boyfriend. The boyfriend she was bragging about last week, that he was such a good man. He don't want to go to the wedding because he don't want to be seen in public with her. And when it clicks to her that he don't want to be seen in public with her, then, because she's moving into this apartment that Electra is paying for. And, he was like, well, I ain't asked to move here. And I ain't asked to do this. Like, I don't want to be around your friends. I don't want to be around these people. I ain't asked to move here, And then he gets ready to smoke this pipe, right? She was like, no, don't do that in here. And she snatches it out of his hand and throws it on the ground. And she's got a 1-month sobriety chip. And I've been working hard. And I'm off of this. And I promised her that I wasn't going to do this anymore. And that's why she's paying for this apartment. And if you can't respect me and love me, then you can go. And he was like, all right, then I'm out. And so then she was like, give me back my key. Now listen. Again, I understand. We're trying to tie this all up in a nice, neat little bow. And I know that there are people who can stop. Everybody doesn't become a strung out crackhead. I get it. But Lulu, really, girl. So she just stopped smoking crack. Is she alright? She just stopped doing it. She didn't go through no withdrawals. They ain't sent her to no clinic. She just woke up one day and said, I'm not doing that no more. Okay. I mean, okay. I'm just gonna let that go. So I'm not even gonna fight it. Then we get to the fitting. Pray Tell is fitting Blanca for giving her final fitting for the wedding, and that's when Blanca shows Pray Tell that she has been working on a design for his AIDS quilt panel for his AIDS quilt, and it's black and white, and it says Pray Tell, and it says does it say live? Does it say what he says at the beginning of the pose? Live, love, pose. I think it says it. But of course, they share another moment. He thinks it's beautiful and it's perfect, and it fits perfectly with, live, work, pose. That's it. Live, work, pose. Right. And it fits perfectly in with, Pray Tell. And again, it takes us back to the beginning, the way every episode it opens up. And then we get to the wedding. Now, let me say this. For the purposes of this moment, I am here for the fantasy. I'm going to let them have this fantasy, okay? Because it was beautifully done, okay? All of the women showed up in those wedding dresses, honey. Now, it was raining, and them dresses was dragging in that rain. But, baby, it's all good. And of course, all of the men showed up in their tuxes. We saw Castle. We saw the council was there, honey, and they were in their best, their Sunday best. And we had Poppy having a moment with the men. He had Pray Tell. He had not Cubby. Well, Cubby comes, but not Cubby, but the other one, Lamar, and Ricky is there. And Pray Tell is sitting there in his sunglasses because remember now, nobody is seeing his eye. Poppy is ready to have an attitude, because he automatically assumes that Pray Tell is drunk or hungover. So he's ready to be mad and ready to have an attitude. And he's like, what's up, Pray, with the sunglasses, at 10 o'clock in the morning. So when Pray Tell takes the sunglasses off and they can see his eye, of course they're getting ready to get upset. And Ricky actually starts crying. And Pray Tell says, don't do that. Don't do it. Don't do it. He says, I'm dying. It is what it is, but we are going to enjoy this day. This ain't about me, and we're going to make it do what it do. We found out also that Ricky is getting ready to go on tour with Janet Jackson. Remember, he'd been trying to get on that tour forever, but somebody dropped off, and he getting on the tour, honey. So Poppy is working on his vows, and they were like, well, Poppy, listen, this is what you do. And he said, I know. He said, I'm good with words. He said, but that's why this has to be extra special, because I've been saying sweet shit to Angel for 3 years. Like, I got to do something different. I got to give her something that she ain't never had before. And while they're there, he wants to have a toast. He asked for, some whiskey and some cranberry juice for Pray Tell. And he stands up, and as he's getting ready to stand up to give his toast, we see somebody walking down the steps in this badass white suit, baby, with them pants with the slits on the side. Listen, it was Cubby. And Cubby was clean as the board of health. He came down with his own martini glass, honey. And I know for some people who may not know yet, I think most of us know that Damon left the show for real, because he had a tragedy in his family. Because it would have been great that Damon would have come back for the wedding. But he left the show because he was really dealing with real life situations, and it just wasn't going to happen. But I'm sure if there was any way that they could have gotten him to come for even just for this scene, I'm sure they would have, because Cubby came through with that white suit on, baby, and listen, looking good, okay? But Poppy gave a toast, and he said, listen, all of you taught me how to be a man. And, he thanked them for everything they meant to him and what they've done for him in his life. And if it wasn't for them, where he would be. And it was a moment. And, they did their toast, and it was great. Then the ladies are upstairs in the bridal suite with Angel, and they're giving her something borrowed, something blue. Something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. Now, the something new, baby, Mother Electra then gave Angel this white mink from Barney's, baby. big. The something old was Blanca gave Angel her mother's cookbook. And remember, we talked about, I want to say in season 1, we talked about her mother's cookbook in season 1 of Pose. So we understand the significance of that cookbook for Blanca. The something borrowed, Lulu gave Angel her sobriety chip 1 month, because I guess none of them knew. And so, of course, she was like, oh my gosh, this is the best gift you could have given me. I'm so happy for you. I'm going to keep it. So that was something borrowed. And the something blue, they had wrapped up Candy's hammer with a blue bow. And of course, Angel lost it. And then we look up and it's someone playing the piano. And Angel walks over to the piano and baby, it's Candy. Oh, and listen, she looked good. Bitch. The outfit, the makeup, the hair, beautiful. And she told her, she said, listen, this survivor guilt is some bullshit. Like, because she was like, you should be here, you should be here. And she said, listen, you got to let it go. You can do this, you got this. All the great words of encouragement, right? So then the ladies come down. The ladies are coming down in their wedding gowns, hunty. And Ricky walked Praytel down the aisle. Praytel is the officiant. And that's what he had told Blanca, like, listen, I'm still going to be there for the wedding. I might need a little help down the aisle. And so that's what she got. Poppy walked Blanca down the aisle and she looked beautiful. Lulu came down the aisle, honey. And then Cubby came down the aisle, honey. I said, I know that's right, Cubby. You better walk your ass down the aisle now. Candy ain't come down the aisle, but I saw Cubby. No, I'm sorry. Take that back, Lord. It wasn't Cubby. It was Lamar. My bad, y'all. See, I was about to be all in my comments. And then, y'all know that the ring bearer was Poppy Jr. He was cute in his white suit, honey, and came down and with his little ring bearer, honey. Because it was an all-white wedding. And for the exception of Lulu, Blanca, and Electra, they had on pink dresses. But remember, all the ladies had on white suits and the men had on tuxes. And Poppy, Ricky, and Praytel all had on white. Lamar had on white. And Angel had this beautiful gown with this train of white and I guess violet, pink roses. Oh, of course she was gorgeous. Y'all know she was gorgeous, baby. And she walked down that aisle like she was walking a ball. It was beautiful. She was gorgeous. Gorgeous. She gave her vows, and of course they were beautiful and they were heartfelt. And then Poppy started doing his vows, and Jeremy, who's sitting with Blanca, leaned over and said, is he reciting the words to I Swear? Y'all remember the song I Swear by All For One? And Blanca was like, shh. But he was reciting the words to the song I Swear. And then he stops and he says, I can't do this. And so, of course, everybody's like, what? What do you mean he can't do this? Whoa, 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 whoa. What is he talking about? What is he talking about? Y'all, he started singing. And then Ricky joined in and gave him a little backup. And then he walked down the aisle and everybody joined in. And they sang the damn song, I Swear. Listen, it was a moment. It was a fantasy and it was a moment, but I was here for it, okay? I was here for it. So they get married. Everything is beautiful. And as they're walking out, baby Electra got one more trick up her sleeve, baby. She said, I couldn't leave out the groom. Baby, she done gave Poppy a white-on-white convertible Ford Mustang. And see, that was around the time where they had redone the Ford Mustangs and they came out with them new Mustangs, because I remember a friend of mine had one. Baby, that thing was clean. And they go driving off into the sunset, and in the new Mustang, her, him, and the baby. And next thing, we kind of fast forward, we see them at the beach, and they are having a whole family moment. Guy walks up and says, oh, is that your wife and son? And Poppy's like, yep, they're mine. And the little boy says, daddy, come play with us. And they're in the sand making sand castles. And it's a moment. I mean, it is absolutely a beautiful moment, right? Um, and of course, next week is the finale, and I believe somebody said that the finale is 2 hours long. So we are here for the finale of Pose next week. And it looks like it's gonna be Pray Tell Swan Song. But listen, we've been getting ready for that all season. I told y'all at the beginning of the season who I thought it was gonna be. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.